Hi, have you ever wondered what we mean by a percentage? We see them, we use them in our lives all the time. Just go shopping and you'll see them. Read the newspaper, you'll see them. In your exams, you'll use them. So, what do we mean by a percentage then? Well, that's the aim of this particular tutorial. A percentage sign is given as this symbol, and we read it as percent. And what it is it is something out of 100. And you get the idea when you break down the word. Per is out of, and cent, well, that comes from words like century to mean 100. So it's out of 100. So if I had, say, 50%, this is a very common percentage. You might even know what it is without even understanding percentages because you've heard it used so much. It's essentially half, because when we look at 50%, it's 50 out of 100. We write it like that, like a fraction here. 50 out of 100. And as a decimal, when we divide by 100, then it's as if we move the point back 2 places. So this is the same as 0.50. Or you might know it as a fraction. We can cancel 50 into both the top and the bottom. 50 into 50 goes 1, 50 into 100 goes 2. So we get the familiar 1/2 for 50%. You might know it as 0.5. You don't have to write 0.50 there, because if we take 0.5, then remember, 0.5 is the result of 5 out of 10, or 5 divided by 10. And this cancels. 5 into 5 goes 1, 5 into 10 goes 2. When you compare 5 to 10, it's a half. So we'll just put then that that's a half. So 50% can be written as 1/2, 0.50, or even 0.5. They all mean exactly the same. 25% is another well-known percentage that you'll see thrown around. 25% then is 25 out of 100. As a decimal, if we divide 25 by 100, we move the point back 2 places and you get 0.25. 25% as a fraction is well known. 25 into 25 goes 1, 25 into 100 goes 4. So when we think of 25%, we're thinking about a quarter. It takes 4 25s to make up to 100%. So let's have a look at another one, 75%. 75% would be 75 out of 100. And again, as a decimal, dividing 75 by 100, just move the point back 2 places and you end up with 0.75. As a fraction, I notice that 25 goes into both 75 and 100. 25 goes into 75 3 times, 25 goes into 100 4 times. So we get 75% as being the fraction 3/4. Notice how a quarter was 25%, and if we multiply that by 3, we get 75%, or multiplying a quarter by 3 gives us 3/4. Suppose we had 10%. We can build a lot of percentages up from 10%, so it's well worth knowing this one. 10% is 10 out of 100. As a decimal, if we divide 10 by 100, move the point back 2 places, we get 0.10. And if you cancel this, 10 into 10 goes 1, 10 into 100 goes 10 times. So 10% is the fraction 1/10. Or you could write it as 0.10. Or with 0.10, because it ends in a 0, just like this one up here, we can drop that 0, call it 0.1. 0.1 means 1 out of 10, 1/10. If you divide 1 by 10, you move the point back one place, get 0.1. So equivalent ways of saying exactly the same thing for 10%. Now I've got a few examples which I'd like you to try. See if you can take these percentages here, write them as decimals, and also convert them to fractions in their lowest form. So I'll give you a moment just to pause the video. When you're ready to come back, you can either fast forward to check your answers, or I'll take you slowly through the work solutions. Okay, welcome back then if you had a go. So starting with 20%, this is going to be the fraction then 20 out of 100. Or as a decimal, if we divide 20 by 100, it's going to be 0.20. You might not have had 0.20 because it ends in a 0 here. You might have written 0.2. 0.2 means 2 out of 10. And 2 out of 10 can cancel further. 2's will go into both the top and the bottom. 2 into 2 goes once and 2 into 10 goes 5. So 0.2 is the same as 1/5. You can get 1/5 from here. You could cancel top and bottom by 20. 20 into 20 goes 1, 20 into 100 goes 5. So either way, 20% then as a fraction in its lowest terms is 1/5, as a decimal is 0.20 or even 0.2. And for 35% next, that's going to be as a fraction 35 out of 100. As a decimal, divide 35 by 100, move the point back 2 places and you get 0.35. But this fraction reduces down more. We don't have to leave it at 35 over 100. I notice that 5 goes into both the top and the bottom. 5 goes into 35 7 times and 5 goes into 100 20 times. So 35% is the fraction 7/20, or as a decimal 0.35. 5%, let's have a look at this one. This is going to be 5 out of 100. As a decimal, move the point back 2 places. Now here we're going to have 0.05. We have to put in that extra naught there. As a fraction in its lowest terms, 5 goes into 5 once and it also goes into 100 20 times. So we got 1/20. And notice the relationship between 35% and 5%. Notice that 35 is 7 times more than 5%. So 7 times 1/20 is 7/20. And for 1%, this is going to be 1 out of 100. And as a decimal, I've got to move the point back 2 places. Moving it back 2 places means it becomes 0.01. We fill in that extra space there with a 0. This fraction doesn't cancel down anymore. Okay, so we just leave it like that. 6%, well that's going to be 6 out of 100. This as a decimal will be 0.06. And this fraction cancels down. I notice that 2 goes into both the top and the bottom. 2's into 6 goes 3 times and 2 into 100 goes 50 times. 3/50 then for 6%, or 0.06. Now in my next video what I'm going to do is show you how we can work out percentages of a quantity. For instance, say 30% of 500 pounds or 25% of 20 kilograms. And I'll also get you to have a go at a few. So hopefully you'll give that a try.